Three, testing. Carl Kouan for the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans. Thank you for tuning in and joining us here on our live show. Wednesday Live. Today is December 8th, 2021. I'd like to thank everyone for watching and subscribing and logging on and supporting the Sports Hit List brand and pulling up to all of our shows and content. We have content 6 days a week right now. 5 days a week, going back to 6 days a week, as the B Show will be returning soon. No time for I don't have a date yet, but the B Show will be back. So thank you for everyone who is joining right now. I am sharing the show. So please share with your friends. Drop that link, drop that text, drop that comment. All you got to do is go to Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. You could find the Sports Hit List on all three of those platforms streaming live right now. And again, thank you to all of our fans for always continuing to support. Actually, we're not streaming on Twitter. I don't know why it's not streaming, but it is streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. So thank you to everyone who's out there, who's watching. I'm going to drop the link right now. And I'm expecting you guys to do the same thing. That's how the brand grows. So continue to share, and tell your friends about us, and just come listen to some good sports content and daily content. And thank you to all the fans who continuously support us and pull up to all of our shows, which include the regular Hit List show, the Sunday Kickoff show. We have Smoke and Mirrors Mondays and Fridays, and we also have the Fans on Tuesdays. So we also have AEW Injection, which you can check out on Thursday mornings to recap AEW. And we do WWE pay-per-views. There's a lot of Sports Hit List content again. So please like, share, comment, subscribe. Today is what we call, we normally go through our NBA team and panel. They feel like I waste their time and I don't give them enough time. So I'm going to let them in. So I won't keep wasting their time. And I think we have some person waiting for us right now as he logs in. My brother Mike, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you, my brother. Yo, I'm going to log out and then come back in.
No problem. Do your thing, bro. I'm here.
All right.
Okay. Mike is going to log back out and he'll come back in. And as I continue to share it, I'm texting it to all my WhatsApp groups, to all my friends and family members, to make sure they check out the Sports Hit List. Dave, make sure you check us out. We are live right now. So last night, the Boston Celtics did lose to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I know people have been flooding my time feed and talking and spitting their nonsense. It's okay. I had it warranted. I had it coming because the last time when the Celtics won, I ended up talking my ish. You know, it's cool. Just put the season series 1-1. There's always one thing about, and some people don't understand why I do that. Celtic and Laker fans, they don't like each other. We know it. It's no secret. We go back and forth all season long. That's the beauty of being an NBA fan is, you know, we enjoy the regular season and we love the friendly banter and we enjoy the going back and forth. So the Lakers got one on us. We gave up in the third. Shout out to one of my Celtic fans, Mr. Pierre Hines. He says the Celtics are consistently inconsistent. That's one of the things that he loves to say about my team. It's true. They're consistently inconsistent. And the fact that, you know, Jaylen Brown is not at 100% and they want him to be at 100% before he comes back, which is why he's not playing. He's at 75%. So until he's at that 80%, 100%, Ime Udoka is not going to play him. But I think as a Celtic fan, what's the most frustrating part is that I'm in all these Celtic groups on Facebook because I like to read about the team and see what's going on. And you guys are annoying, man. The slander and the things I see after one game of loss and another win, it's just ridiculous. Trade Jason Tatum, trade Jaylen Brown, fire the coach. Where's Brad Stevens? Where's this? Where's that? Whining and bitching and complaining. It's only in December. I understand this team has had a lot of issues. I've had a lot of issues with it. I get the frustrations, but some of this stuff on Facebook and on social media, it's like, do you watch the game or do you just go online just to troll? And it's getting ridiculous to the point where sometimes I don't even want to come on here or even read the content that people are saying. Like these memes be like, bro, educate yourself on the game. Like, do you even watch the games? And it's so frustrating. And like, I get it. Everyone wants to win, but have an educated opinion by just every time we lose, trade this guy, like trade Marcus Smart. Like you guys know Marcus Smart was all defensive team. What are we talking about here? So I get it. The Celtics are consistently inconsistent, but moving forward, hopefully they can pick it up because they're in that mid of the Eastern Conference right now where 3.5 games separate the top three seeds. So anything could happen when it goes to the second half. Sorry for my rant, Mike. I don't get to rant very often, but I just had to put it out there.
That was your monthly segment of the Media Man Rant, brought to you by Carl Kouan. So just so you know.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. How you doing?
Let you go to work, man.
No, for real, man.
The ship, my brother.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. But let me Ziggy, how you doing, sir?
What's going on, man? I'm chilling.
So Mike, before we get into our segment, we got a special segment, which was a good topic, by the way. I want to shout out some of the Hit List contributors. A lot of times these topics just come up in our general conversation in these WhatsApp group chats. And that's how we develop segments. Like we talking all day and I'll say, you know what, let's bring it to the camera. But Mike, I'm gonna give you the floor. Since I have my floor to address my team, it's your team is making headlines with blowing it all up. So what can you tell us as the Pacer insider on the sports hit list? Who are you shipping out?
No insider.
Listen, who are you shipping out? Who do you want? I mean, it's a long way to the All-Star break, but your team is looking like you saying, yo, we're shaky, baby. What are we doing here? What are we doing, Mike?
Man, I told you, man. I think you always hesitate blowing stuff up when you're a fan because that means you are going to be in the lottery unless you get a superstar. So most likely that signals the lottery. And I heard a stat, like last week I was watching one of the games, I heard a stat that my Pacers have never had a number one pick. And what that speaks to in our history, what that speaks to is that we're consistently in the playoffs. So we're never that deep. We're never that bad. Like we never have like a 12-win season or a 13-win season. Like even if we miss the playoffs, it's few and far between, but it's always like by 2 or 3 games. So you don't get a high draft pick. So, but it's a sobering reality that in the midst of all that, we've never won a championship, NBA championship. We got the 3 ABA ones. So as much as it hurts, but Carl, I told you this in the beginning of the year after we lost, I think, to Washington. So we just we have a good group of pieces, but we do not have a piece. Every team needs, and Zig will probably be able to talk to this too, because his Knicks are pretty much in the same boat. Like you have a bunch of really, really good pieces, but you don't have a piece
that guy.
to make that thing work. Let me give you another stat I saw. The Pacers lead the league in losses by 10 points or less. We have 13. I think we're like 0-7 and games lost by 3 or less. What does that tell you? We all been watching basketball long enough. That tells you don't have one guy that you can give the ball to. When teams go on a 10-over, you don't have that guy. And so for me, I'm cool with blowing it up. I would love to keep Damo because see, the hope was Karis LeVert would become that. We saw the potential, but see, this is how a lot of teams get fooled. When you're on a mediocre team like the Nets were with Spencer Dinwiddie and all them, then the guys that are not really known for doing anything, they could get their 30, they could get their 50 because no one cares really. You playing with house money. There's no pressure on you to be the lead. You are just, it's like, I think it's like in the NFL, the backup quarterback's always the favorite because the responsibility is not on you really. So that's what Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie, that's what they did that year with the Nets when Kyrie was hurt and they made it to the playoffs. So, but we fell for that. That was fool's gold. It was like, okay, he'll be the superstar. But if you watch our games and you see how Karis plays, he's not confident enough to be that guy. And Malcolm Brogdon thinks he is, but not really. So this is the problem you're having. All of these pieces are great if you put that guy there. So I would prefer to keep Damo because he's the all-star of the team, but he's kind of a throwback kind of player. The NBA is not really like that anymore, where you posting up. That's why his numbers dipped this year, because Rick Carlisle, coming from Dallas, he's trying to have a more fast-paced spread offense, which means you can't really feature Damo like that. So I would prefer to keep him. But I at this point, you saw the report. Anything goes, man. And what I want back, if I'm gonna give up Karis LeVert, a draft pick, Damo, and Miles, I got to get a superstar, baby. I can't have Ben.
So what superstar? But Mike, that superstar title is very subjective because we know we've done this before. We played that star superstar. So show me some names. What you talk about? You talk about superstars.
No, listen, some are obvious.
You talking Dame Lillard? So you talking Dame Lillard?
You know what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know that. Like, that's what I'm talking
They're not going to ship. Listen, no
Tim
offense, Mike, but
a,
shipping them, that's like shipping them off to Siberia. They're not going to ship them off to the Pacers.
I know. Listen. I know this. As a lifelong Pacer fan, I know that my superstars have to be developed. Reggie, we had to develop him. Paul George, he was a budding superstar. We had to develop him. I understand this already. Small market, I know this already. But if I'm giving up pieces, I'm sick of doing it. Like when we got the David West, that was cool. We could add him with the young emerging Paul George and Danny Granger. Okay, cool. I'm cool with the key free agent signings. That's what keeps us afloat. But at this point, my brother, I want to experience. We was just talking about the Malice in the Palace. That's when we had actual championship aspirations. I want to get back to that. That was 2005, baby. We almost in 2022. So
Listen, I'm not too far. Listen, I'm not too far off you, brother. 2008. That's 3-year difference. So I'm suffering over here. I feel you. I feel you.
It's tough over here just being like a middle of the road team. So I'm cool with.
Well, you know what? Looking at the standings right now, the Pacers are in that 13, 10, 16. 8 games back. As I was telling Zig before, and I posted this before, and people were kind of laughing, but you take a look at the Eastern Conference. The Brooklyn Nets, the Bulls, and the Bucks, the top 3 seeds. The Nets are at 17-7, Chicago 17-8. They just beat Brooklyn, and then you got the Bucks at 16-9, and then from there on, everyone else is separated. Miami, Washington, Philly, Charlotte, Cleveland, Atlanta, Boston, New York. It's 3.545 game differential between those teams. So Ziggs, your team coming off a really bad loss against Denver, I believe this past weekend. You guys played Denver on Saturday, right?
Oh, hold up. Why can't we? Why
they won yesterday?
About the one that we
won yesterday. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. My bad.
That's crazy, Mike.
I'm sorry.
You hate the Knicks for real.
I thought how you start off like that?
Crazy. You went all the way to last week, and they played last night.
And we played
I really didn't realize they played last night. I really didn't realize they played last night. I'm sorry. Okay, so but your team is in the middle of the pack. What moves can you make to get yourself in that upper? Again, now it's a matter of avoiding the play-in. And I love this. You know, I remember when they introduced it, everyone was against it, but now it kind of makes it like, okay, we don't want to be in the play-in.
No, it feels stupid. It's stupid.
It's not. It's not. But anyway, that's I don't think it is. But anyway, Ziggs, how can you avoid not being in that play-in situation and actually locking in a playoff berth? I know it's early, but
well, yeah, it's definitely early. But I think, like I said on the Fan Zone yesterday with Mike and Manny, I believe we need a little bit more time together as a team. Too many pieces are in and out of the lineup every game. On top of that, I said it yesterday, Julius Randle is not a number one. He was never a number one last year when we was winning games. He's not a number one this year now that we losing games. So we need to get somebody in here similar to what Mike said. You need that go-to person because when it comes down to crunch time, you don't know who's getting the ball. It could be Alec Burks. It could be Derrick Rose. It could be Julius Randle. It could be RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. There's no one guy who said, hey, when I get the ball, get out of the way. I'm going to the hoop. You know when ATL's in the close game, who's getting the ball. You know when the Grizzlies are in the close game, who's getting the ball. Phoenix, you know who's getting the ball. Lakers, you know who's getting the ball. Like these teams all have key individuals who they can say, hey, we're going to get a bucket by this guy right here. You too, Carl. You got a guy on your squad that could get you some baskets. We don't have that. And that's a problem. On top of that, Mitchell Robinson, I give him props because yesterday he shut me up. He came out, he did his thing, but he's very inconsistent. Very, very, very inconsistent. And he's up for a contract extension. And I think it's time we try to ship him out and try to get somebody back. I don't know about the whole Damian Lillard move. Because personally, for me, it feels like another Carmelo situation. It just depends on who we giving up. Because we give up Damian Lillard, then we go right back to 2010, 2011, when we had Stat and then Melo came over the next year or whatever. So I personally think we just need that time to gel as a team. I think we need to make maybe just one or two moves, most for taking care of that point guard position, because for years we just can't get a point guard. We thought Kimber was gonna come in. Carl, you had the inside information. We didn't know that it was this bad, for Kimber. And prior to Kimber, we haven't had a point guard since maybe Raymond Felton, Chauncey Billups, and then
Well,
before that, Paul Marbury.
let
So
me
we
tell you
haven't had
something,
no
man.
point guards.
As far as point guards concerned, I told you we had a point guard problem. Our last three have been ran to the ground. They've been injured and they couldn't help us. Isaiah Thomas injured, Kyrie Irving got hurt, and then Kemba Walker got hurt under. So I thought it was our training staff. At some point, I'm like, why are all three of these point guards getting run into the ground?
Training staff.
Yeah, it is.
That's
it makes no sense.
With all of our team. I ain't have no point guard really till
it don't make no sense.
Mark Jackson, man.
And I got Marcus Smart right now. Right? You see what I'm saying? So
and he's not really a point guard.
He's not really a point guard.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So it's something there. But again, I apologize. The Knicks did win last night, 121-109. I didn't do that's my fault for not doing my homework.
You're a hater because you gave Mike all the love. It was space of love. And
you did it on purpose, man.
No, I really did it though. You see some people, I really did it. I really did it though. I'm sorry. I really did it.
You. I'm with it. Look, Pacers, you know I hate the Knicks too. I'm cool with it.
All right, guys. So Coach is going to be joining us in a little bit. You know, Coach is doing the work thing. Everybody's doing the work thing. But today's topic stems from LeBron James's son, Bronny, getting the praise over ESPN. Him playing Sierra Canyon High School, playing his father's old high school, St. Vincent St. Mary's at Staples Center. So it was a big frenzy this past weekend. And I said to myself, maybe I need to do more research on the high school circuit because Greg was challenging, saying, you know, there were other high school stars that get the love. But I was looking at it from a perspective, and my comments were his career is already ruined in the media, you know, because of the hype and because of who he is and the name that's attached to his jersey, not so much his talent. Because he's LeBron's son, people are going to already looking at him. He already got offers from colleges when he was a freshman. And now I believe he's in his junior year, right? Or senior year?
Yeah, he's junior year.
Junior year. So I decided to think about this and I'm like, wait a minute. And I love the whole second generation legacy family building when it comes to anything. You know, it's pretty dope. And I was like, wait a minute, we have a lot of them in the NBA. So let's open up the conversation to about second generation NBA players. And do we have pressure on them to succeed and follow in their father's footsteps? You know, what's it like for a second generation player? And we've seen some of the documentaries and behind the scenes with that. And I just did my research before the show. And if you combine the BBA, NBA, NBL, and ABA and all those mergers, there have been 89 second generations to play in those leagues among the since 1949, 89 total. So that goes to show how the game is carried. So Ziggs, let me start with you. When it comes to the second generation player, do we put pressure? I mean, again, we know the media, the fans to say, okay, they have their father's name. Are we looking for them to be just like their father, or do we give even time for them to even grow?
No, absolutely not. I think not us, you know, per se, but the overall media definitely puts all these huge aspirations on these young second generation players coming out. For me, coming up as a kid, the biggest one was Marcus Jordan. You know, everybody was expecting him to be that next, you know, dude just like his pops. And my man I don't even think he made it to the draft, or I don't even think he was that nice in college or anything like that. So we as a people overall just need to stop doing that and just allow these guys to play their basketball game, because not everybody's going to be, you know, the person that they was before or the person that brought them in the world. They're not going to have that same talent, right? Because you look at Gary Payton. Gary Payton was an awesome defender, and he was able to get buckets as well, right? Gary Payton Jr. doesn't get the same buckets, but plays the same defense, has the same defensive tenacity, and he has hops. So it's like everybody is different in their own way. It's not the same for everybody, you know what I mean? So I think the media needs to kind of take a seat back and chill with all of that stuff, because Bronny hasn't even gone to college yet. You know what I mean? Let Bronny play his game. Coming up, I don't even think Bronny was the best player on his team when they had Brandon Boston, and I can't remember the other guy that was on the squad at the time. But give these guys time to come into the league on their own. You know, let's stop heaping these aspirations on these guys.
On the flip side, Mike, we have a Del Curry, or Wardell Sr. was a role player, and now his son is a superstar. So there are instances where the prodigal son is better than the father. So what's your take on second generation players in the league?
Well, just to echo the points that you both was made, in general, it's dope. Like just to see people walk in their parents' footsteps, that's dope, man. I mean, we all know nepotism is a real thing. I mean, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, you know, in general. Now, of course, there was problems with that with the racial history, but we ain't gonna get into that. That's not the topic for the show. But nevertheless, there's a benefit, a huge benefit to when you are you have an athlete in the home. So particularly the NBA, I think it's 20 NBA players currently that are second generation basketball players. So they have fathers that were in the league and they benefit from that. And particularly when you talk about the Currys, I mean, we all have seen all the highlights of them in gyms with their dad during practice and shoot around. So they hugely benefit from it. In terms of the pressure, you could look at it both ways. On one end, they have huge pressure to live up to their parents, and maybe someone who doesn't have a famous parent or a parent that played the sport doesn't have that pressure. But then on the positive end, Bronny has been exposed not only to the NBA arenas, but he's had the best trainers in the world. So he's had advantages that the average kid does not have. So it's one of these things where you take the good with the bad. Yes, Steph has a unique ability. Okay, a lot of us can shoot jump shots, but all of us ain't gonna shoot like him. But he did benefit from being in a locker room. I think it was early on in his career, there was some rumblings that players kind of felt some way about him because he didn't have the traditional story, growing up in the hood, having that struggle story. He didn't have that. He had, for lack of a better term, silver spoon. And so there's a gift and a curse when it comes to being a second generation. Bronny's a perfect example. Bronny I think he's ranked like 49th in his class in ESPN. ESPN typically never talks about the 49th ranked player in a class. He's specifically being talked about because they're showing his games specifically because he's Bronny James. Yeah. So that's the benefit you get. Now, of course, there's pressure to it, and I don't think we should be showing 16-year-olds game. His dad was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at 16. So we're showing his games because he's attached to his dad. So Bronny, in terms of his game, right now, he's not going to be an NBA pro right now. He would make it, right now, he would probably make it, if we're just projecting. Most people have talked, and Mac will probably share better on this, but most people have said right now he's a maybe low second rounder, maybe. So he's not at the level that warrants this hype. But again, that's a credit to being attached to his father and being a second generation. So there's a benefit to that. But of course, as Ziggy mentioned, there is the case with the Jordan brothers, Jeffrey and Marcus, where a lot of us, I know I always felt that growing up, like they should have never played basketball. They should have played baseball because their dads stunk at baseball. So they should have been great at baseball. They could have carved their own lane, like one of the Thompson brothers. One of them plays baseball. I think there's three of them, and one of them plays baseball. Clay, of course, is in the league, and another brother made the league but didn't stay. So that's part of how it could play into it, because of course media is going to make a big deal about it. But in general, I think anything you want to follow in your father's footsteps or mom's footsteps in their respective fields, I think that's phenomenal. That's dope. But yeah, the media does do a little too much, but you also get a benefit from having those famous parents.
You know what? And speaking of your saying about parents, JaVale McGee's mother played in the WNBA. And clearly
she's
the
an Olympian.
Right. And and we know the late great Kobe Bryant, it was we all saw the trajectory for Gigi. Yeah, so it's there. Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, man.
That's all good.
Thing, the pressure depends on the stature of your parent.
Yes.
Because we don't Bronny's getting a lot of hype because his dad's arguably the second greatest player ever. But nobody talks about Jalen Brunson's dad. He played in the league. Nobody talks about Devin Booker's dad. He played in the league.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys currently playing in the league that they don't have that kind of pressure because their fathers didn't make it to that stature to where we would shine that light on them. But those particular people that I named, particularly Devin Booker, who got a chance to play against Danilo Gallinari when he was like 14, they get the benefit of their dads being in that space without necessarily getting all that pressure.
Coach, how you doing, man? It's been a while.
I'm good. I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Good. So join the conversation. We're talking about second generation. Let me give you some backstory. Second generation NBA players. Bronny this past weekend, I guess, was all over ESPN because he was playing his father's old high school at Staples Center. So it made some headlines, and we decided to have this topic about second generation players and the hype and living up to your parents' expectation. We did some research. If you put together the BBA, NBA, NBL, ABA since 1949, there have been 89 second generation players to play like their father. So what are your thoughts with the second generation? Do they have to live up to the hype with Bronny, with everything going on, and even the Currys? How you had Del Curry was a role player and Steph became a superstar. So overall, with second generations, what's your take?
I mean, each second generation player is not created equal. So, it all depends. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
Okay. It all depends on, what player we're talking about. I mean, Bronny, what's the odds that he's going to be anywhere near LeBron James? Pretty slim, right? Steph Curry, I think most would have thought from his college experience he was going to supersede his father's game. We didn't think it would be this superstar. I didn't think Curry would be a multi-MVP winner and one of the greatest shooters ever, but I thought he would be better than his dad, given when he came in. I heard Mike talking about Nick Brunson. I thought Jalen Brunson would be better than Nick Brunson. Some players, if you're the Dwayne Wades of the world, you get a chance to get into the G League on a team that he co-owns, I think. Some players, you don't get that opportunity. You really got to earn your keep, depending on what level your father was in the league. So it really depends on the father, the player who came before, and how good the player is now. But it definitely helps you get your foot in the door to have a dad that's been in the NBA. It's a fraternity at the end of the day. You're going to get some opportunities that other players aren't extended because of the legacy of your predecessor being your father. But to stay in the NBA, you have to be good. You have to have talent to stay in the NBA. It's a business. And, even Michael Jordan didn't put his sons on his team. You get what I'm saying? Because that's what you're going to be viewed as when you're running the business. So you do get some perks, but the cream rises to the top and the talent will prevail once it gets on that stage.
So we have Greg in the comments. Shout out to his show, Smoke and Mirrors. You can find Mondays at 7:00 and Fridays at 4:30. He asked Coach, is Bronny a first rounder?
No, not right now. Not right now. I've seen him play. He's actually getting better. I watched some of that game at the Staples Center. He shot the ball pretty well. That's going to be his game. You can see he's different than his dad. He doesn't have as much athletic built or the just God-given physique of a grown man at 17, 18 years old like his dad had. He's going to have to work his way into the NBA, but there's a chance. I've seen a lot of players develop. Steph Curry wasn't an NBA player his senior year. He had one scholarship. And I know a bunch of mid-major coaches who hit their heads on a wall because they could have given him a scholarship and he would have went to their school. Shout out to my old coach, Mike Nettie, who's at Ohio State right now. He was at Gardner-Webb. He tells me a story. Steph Curry came up to him at a camp and said, "Hey, coach, do you have a scholarship for me?" And he said, "No." He said, "Nah, not right now."
Oh, Mike Nettie, wasn't he on Brian Nash's coaching staff, right?
Yeah, he coached me.
Yeah.
He's kicking himself in the teeth right now for that.
But Bronny, he has right now, I wouldn't have him on a draft board for his year first round. But getting stronger, who he works out with, who he plays against, a lot of things can change between now and 2 years.
Okay. Any other comments to add to this topic where we move on to some more NBA talk? Anything else we want to add to this topic?
I just wanted to just echo that. That's what I was saying earlier about just opportunity. You get an opportunity when your dad is in position, but Max said it beautifully, man. You could get there, but are you going to stay there? People can get drafted, you get on the team, but can you stay there? So yeah, don't
shout out to Kasim because he also mentioned we forgot about Sabonis. Domantas.
Damo. He surpasses that. Well,
I don't know. That's
it's kind of close.
NBA wise,
that's no career, but NBA wise, he's two-time All-Star.
He might have surpassed his dad in terms of
his dad came late.
But his dad was a pioneer. He was a pioneer in terms of
that's a great point. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Coach, we haven't had you on in a while, and I think last week I played multiple choice. How are you at multiple choice questions on tests? Are you good or no?
Pretty good. I know how to eliminate 2, and then it comes down to 2. And
okay. So I'm going to ask you the question, and because I didn't ask you this, I'm not trying to repeat it, but I didn't get a chance to ask you this question. So you ready?
I'm ready.
Who plays in this season first? A, Kyrie Irving, B, Ben Simmons, or C, John Wall?
That's a good one.
Oh, Professor.
I'm gonna take you through my mind right now. I'm eliminating Kyrie right now. Eliminating Kyrie.
Do you know something that we don't know? Is that why you're eliminating him?
I'm not at
He
liberty.
can't reveal so I know he knows something though. So
right now,
Mac, Whoa, come on, Whoa. You can't leave us hanging, Whoa.
I'm saying enough right here. If I'm telling you I'm eliminating Kyrie,
that tells you something.
I don't know why you asked him. Once he said that.
But right now, you said right now, who plays first? So I'm eliminating Kyrie.
For this season, yeah. So we have another season to play. Like we have January, like April. So who plays?
Yeah.
first?
It comes down to Simmons and Wall. I think we see John Wall play first. I think he's going to it's a little easier to trade him. For Ben Simmons, there's a lot of pieces that got to be moved. I mean, someone may jump the gun last minute, but John Wall may just go. We don't want you to play here. Get a buyout and go play for whoever you want to play for. That may, because they're not going to play him. They literally said they're not going to play him. So that's my answer. I'm going to go with John Wall, but Ben Simmons was very close.
Okay. Let me get back to the Bronny. We have a great question here. And I'll bring it to the panelists. So should Bronny go to college or bypass and go straight to the G League? That's from Ricardo Etienne from the football panel. Yeah.
I'm going to college.
Gotta go to college.
Of course.
Okay, can we break that out because they gave the G League as an option and some people liked it rather than going to play that.
He don't need money, so I'm going to college, man.
D Wade's son chose the G League. I understand that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. D Wade went to college. LeBron never went to college. I think LeBron would want his son to get a college experience with a top-level coach and not have that pressure of just traveling in like a vagabond league. No disrespect to the G League. It's a very good league, but it's very different than the NBA. Now we have like overtime elite who's putting pressure.
Yeah, Coach, one of the Pierre-Louis brothers is on a G League team. Nate made a team. He made the Lakers team.
Yeah. So I mean, big shout out to Nate. I have a player who signed a very lucrative deal who's playing with overtime elite. That's getting paid more than most G leaguers. So it's a lot of competition. I would say he goes to college. I just think LeBron will want some structure underneath him and give him a chance to not initially be put on that stage to where he's going to have a lot of pressure. Being in the G League is like being in the AAA. Being in the college at an elite team puts you on that pedestal. You see, he has a name. Those other guys didn't have a name. Some of these guys going into the G League, they had to create their name. He has a name.
And all of,
Yeah. Okay. So everyone's on the consensus that he should go to college.
Yeah,
right?
college.
So
I think they always are debating because I know LeVar Ball was talking about it's the debate of between playing against grown men or playing against kids. So I guess that's
but you know what? But you know what? It's a great point that you bring up LeVar because we've had these conversations with the president of the Laker Nation Brooklyn division, Mr. Anthony, our social media coordinator, and we spoke about LeVar's approach to that. And now, if you take a look back at it, now let's assess LeVar's approach. Which thanks for that, Mike, giving me an idea and seeing how he pulled his sons out, and people were upset about that. But now look at them in the league. You see what I'm saying? So now,
could you all of them out?
Not all of them, but
two out, one made it.
Listen, right. LaMelo was that guy. We saw the talent. We knew he was an NBA player.
Exactly. I was about to say that.
LaMelo was not an NBA player, and his first son went to college for 1 year. So he's done multiple choice. He's used every avenue, and if you use every avenue, if I take 3 trains to the same stop, I'm gonna figure out which one is the shortest time, right?
That's a fact.
All right. Looking at the NBA schedule, guys, it just so happens, two teams are playing tonight that we got us fans on the panel. We got the Knicks are playing the Pacers tonight at 7:00. So just as happens, we were just talking about them. We got that a game. So, Coach, let me get your opinion on your team. You guys are in the middle pack of the Eastern Conference right now, early on in the season. What are your thoughts on what you've seen out the gate? Kemba got benched. What are you seeing from your from your Knicks as the president of the Knicks fan hit list congregation?
Now, we don't have presidents. We all equals with the Knicks fans. All equal. All Knicks fans are created equal. But I think the Knicks they're right where I thought they would be. I talked about the East being very, very talented and very competitive this season. Besides the 2 or 3, teams with the Milwaukee Bucks, the Bulls have surprised me. Much respect to the Bulls. They've surprised me, but I don't see the Bulls as a juggernaut yet, because if you look at the games we played them, all close games, all 1 or 2 possession games, can go either way. Those are coaching decisions and, a couple misses here and there. So, but the Bulls did a great job, not to discredit them, but I still have the cream of the crop being the Bucks and the Nets. Those are, and the Nets, they've had their struggles, but when you have a player like KD, who's generational talent, he's always going to give you that edge against some other teams. But again, the Knicks played the Nets, and look, both times, we get to the final possession. So the East is competitive, man. I just think anybody on any given day, there's going to be 3 or 4 teams who don't make the playoffs, who deserve to make the playoffs. But that's just the way the West used to be for so many years. You had teams in the West that like 48 wins, 50 wins, not make the playoffs or something like that.
Yeah, right. True. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think what the Knicks are doing is trying to find their new identity. Julius Randle had a breakout season, but he is what we thought he is. He's a good secondary option. And now that teams are starting to prepare for him as the first option, his game is going to be limited. He's a limited player in what he can do. He's exceeded what we thought he would be from when he left the Lakers. So now the Knicks are trying to find their identity, find the way they're going to play. How are they going to, really use Fournier? Kemba, let's be honest, I know it would be tough for him, as great as he is offensively, to play for a defensive-minded team. How does that work? And vice versa. We can take a player like give me a very good defender like Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
How would Marcus Smart fit with the Warriors?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like some teams are just about fit. If Marcus Smart went to a team that wants to score 100 points per game and they need to spread the floor out with 3-point shooters, would his value be diminished because he doesn't fit the scheme? So that's what we lie with the Knicks. And I think like your Celtics, Carl, we're all trying to find some kind of fluidity. We're trying to find some kind of identity to make that push. But for the Knicks, we were a losing team until All-Star break last year. And then we really had a good run at the end of the year. So I'm still patient with them. It's a work in progress. I expected this speed bump. Last year was a great year, but I didn't expect us to just go from there and stay in 4th or 3rd the whole entire season. Not realistic for me.
So Mike and Ziggs, let me toss this question to you. Zig first. We were having this discussion about, MVP candidates, and everyone was laughing at me for not putting Demar Derozan in that category. And they're like, what you talking about? You don't watch enough games. So,
yeah, I was definitely one of them laughing at you.
Yeah, for sure. So talk about Demar Derozan here, season leading here, 26.4 per game, 5 and 3, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Talk about his MVP candidacy.
He's balling. Like the stats say it. When you watch the game, it tells you right away. When he was signed by the Chicago Bulls, I personally felt that was a great pickup. There was a couple of people on the sports hit list. I ain't gonna call no names.
Call names.
Nah, I ain't gonna call no names. You can call them, I ain't calling names. They know they was already saying that was a bad trade. That was a bad pickup. They thought Lonzo Ball was a bad pickup. So all in all, let's just got to eat that humble pie right now because DeMar DeRozan is killing. I believe right now DeMar and Zach is probably the best duo in the NBA right now, personally. They know who to go to when it comes. I was talking about that earlier, right, Mike? They have somebody on the team. They got 2 people that they can swing the ball to, and DeMar DeRozan, I believe, is leading the league in 4th quarter points. So that tells you that's the definition of clutch right now. I'm looking forward to him continuing to do it. I'm wondering if at any point is it going to slow down, as we get closer to this playoff run that they're getting ready to get ready for. But all in all, it's been enjoyable to watch DeMar DeRozan cook. I think a lot of people forgot about him because he was playing in San Antonio, and Greg Pop has a totally different system where it's not just going to be some individuality taking place, but we're seeing it here in Chicago, and it's leading to W's. I just hope to see if Chicago can possibly keep it up with him on the sideline with this whole COVID, and then also losing Caruso as well.
All right, Coach, let me get your thoughts on that. DeMar DeRozan in the MVP candidate, I guess you could toss him in with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, right? That'd be fair to say right now?
For sure. Top 5. If the Bulls remain 1 or 2 in the East, he's a top 5 candidate. He's not just sexy candidate, but if they finish second in the East, barring the Warriors having the best record, and Steph his average stays around 27, and he's just right there next to Durant, you might see a DeRozan get more votes because Steph Curry and Durant will have voters fatigue from people just tired of seeing the same face, and they're just going to vote for someone new and someone fresh. So if they split the votes and DeRozan could get some of those votes from some small market, voters and stuff like that, you may have one of the, not I want to call it an upset, but one of the most unlikely MVP candidates in history.
Coach, I know you're pressed for time. You're about to go see the men take on St. Peter's in Jersey City, our St. Francis men's basketball team. So we appreciate your time always, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, man. Love the hit list. Schedule calms down right in time for Christmas, so I can't wait.
Yeah. So well, you know what? Thanks for breaking the news. We're gonna have a NBA Christmas special this year. I got the green light from my boss. You guys know who that is. She told me, we open gifts early. I could do the Christmas show. I think just for that, she may get something extra special for Christmas this year. So 9:30 start. Please pull up Christmas special. We'll break down the games, have some fun traditions here with the hit list. So, Coach, I'll see you then, my brother. He already left. He already left. All right. So, Mike, let me ask you that same question about DeRozan, because you didn't necessarily put him in that when we were discussing MVPs last week when we were talking about it. So, are you putting him in that category?
Hold on, man. See, but I mentioned him last week. See, this is what you do, Carl.
I did it. What are you talking about?
That man. I said last week, and I said the opening season, I said people keep fronting like DeMar DeRozan. His only problem was he could not beat LeBron. That's his only.
You did say that.
Those are the two problems that DeMar DeRozan had. When he was a free agent, he said he didn't want to go to LA because he didn't want to try to eclipse Kobe, or what some perceived as he was scared of the pressure of having to play under the lights of Kobe. That was one problem. The second problem was he couldn't beat LeBron. Other than that, DeMar DeRozan's been clutch. He's been leading teams far. So this will be the first year we see DeMar DeRozan in the Eastern Conference on a playoff team when he doesn't have to play against LeBron. Because remember, it's not lost on us that, yes, Kawhi won the next year, but he also won the next year when LeBron wasn't in the East anymore. So that has to matter. So he absolutely will be, like Max said, and like Ziggy said, he'll be in the top 5. And I'm actually, as much as I want Steph to win this MVP, win Finals MVP, so everybody can shut up forever, it would be dope if DeMar wins Finals League MVP. That would be dope. It really
because he wouldn't be a necessarily, I guess you can say, face of the league kind of player.
It would be like Joker last year.
Yeah,
for sure. Where nobody wanted it, but it's like, that's ill that he gets to get an MVP. Because now we put him, because I think that MVP solidifies DeMar DeRozan. We get to look at his career the right way that we should look at it. Like DeMar DeRozan is probably better than T-Mac, better than Vince Carter. Like, if you look at his stats as well as his production in the playoffs.
That's Mike, that's key, especially that Tracy Mack part, because DeMar DeRozan has success in the playoffs, something that T-Mac does not have. None. So I agree with you on that one.
If he wins a league MVP, but even if he doesn't, but if he wins that, the conversation looks a little different when you start bringing his name up. That conversation sounds different.
All right, heading through the schedule, looking at tonight's matchups, what stands out, we got the Warriors versus the Trailblazers at 10 o'clock on ESPN.
No, 3-point watch. No, the record watch. That's the main reason why everybody watches Steph games right now. He's 15 away from breaking 16 away from the record. People thinking he could do it in one night because Clay did the 15. So
I don't know. He see the record, right?
But I don't know if he will.
And Dame's still not playing, right?
I think Dame is out still.
Yeah, he's still out, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So tonight, if he go up for 16, break 2 records, who knows, yo? But that's people tuned into that, of course.
Guys, let me ask you, what's your League Pass team to watch right now? I know you guys are on the League Pass heavy. So what's your League Pass team, Mike, to watch that you would tell the fans out there that you need to peep if there's opportunity to watch a game?
I just picked it last week because they clapped us. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
is
I did say
incredible.
that. I did pick
He
that on the
is
Smoke and Mirror shirt. I did say that. Anthony Edwards. Yeah,
Ant-Man is incredible. Like this kid, like I thought he was good. This kid, his first step is just because he look. They say he's listed at 6'4", but he looks bigger than that. And his first step is like a short guard. He's incredible. That's my league pass team. I watched them. Like so.
Okay.
Yeah, I never thought I watched the Timberwolves, but
Ziggy, do you co-sign that, or are you going with another
Yo,
team?
I mean, okay, I'm gonna pick another team because that was gonna be my first pick if you had selected me to go first. Everything that Mike said, on top of that, I enjoy watching Karl Anthony Towns work for whatever weird reason. You know what I mean? I'm enjoying him.
I would like him, man. I would like Karl Anthony Towns. I think that solves my problems.
Me
They had
too,
the
man.
same team. Yeah, I think we all would like him.
That's all. I'll give up. I'll give up. Listen, I'll give up Jaylen Brown for that. I'll give up Jaylen Brown for that.
That'd be a good person to give up for that, man.
I think so if I'm not gonna go with Minnesota, I'm gonna go back east and I'm gonna go with the Charlotte Hornets. I love watching LaMelo Ball play basketball, man. It's real intriguing to watch him, just the way he is able to handle the ball with either the right or the left hand, the assortment of passes that he can dish out. On top of that, Miles Bridges, oh my goodness, was not like this last year. He took a huge step this
most
year.
improved for sure. Without question. That's the most improved. Without question.
Yeah, he's killing. Like anytime I watch the Charlotte Hornets game, you got to look out for a potential poster. That's just how athletic and quick this guy is. I'm enjoying that game. It's good to see them get PJ Washington back. Unfortunately, both LaMelo and Terry got COVID right now. So hopefully they come back next week and they could continue going because I just wanted to mention really quickly too, not to change the point. There's a lot of teams who are dealing with all kinds of injuries. And despite the fact that the Pacers and the Knicks and the Celtics are kind of like 10, 11, and 13 or 10, 11, 12, whatever the record is, those teams have a potential chance to get up because so many guys above us have injuries. You have the Chicago Bulls dealing with injuries. The Washington Wizards, Spencer Dinwiddie is out in and out from time to time. You have the Charlotte Hornets who have three guys who are on the COVID protocol. There was a couple other teams I was looking at as well, but this is that time now for our teams to kind of rise up. Hopefully,
looking ahead at my team, we got the Clippers tonight. Oh boy,
they good too. The Clippers,
we got Greg's Grizzlies. They played the Mavericks. Now I was watching something. I tagged our guy Jason Ben. Shout out to him. That Luka, when he's on the floor, the Mavs give up way too many points. I forgot what the exact number was, as opposed to when he's on the bench. That's what I was seeing. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead. My fault, Carl.
No, go ahead. You good? Go ahead.
No, and you reminded me. Shout out to Taylor Jenkins, the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies. They have won 5 in a row since Josh's been hurt. That's coaching. We gonna start bigger. Yo, Carl, we gotta have that show one time. We start talking about the importance of coaching. And we gotta have
3 points, Mike. 73 points, Mike.
Okay. Oh, that's 73 points. Oh,
73
points.
Man,
they won by 73 points. That's a league record.
Yeah, that was
we gotta give credit. Everybody been smacking OKC, but no one smacked him like that. So
that was really bad.
We gotta give credit to coaching out here. He is coaching his butt off.
For sure. But to the point about Luka, I kind of seem like he's his hype have calmed down a little bit. Is this just me?
Oh, see
like go ahead.
With Luka, bro, and Banks knows this because I tell him it all the time. Me and him both talk about it because he's a Mavs fan, so he loves the Mavs. But you can see Luka does not know how to get anyone else involved. He has very cute little passes that look nice, but if you watch the games, there's a reason KP is not aggressive when he's playing with him. It's because Luka looks him off. I've watched. There was a play last night, late in the game. Luka drives the ball. He has KP cuts to the basket. Luka has an easy lob. It's on the left wing. He has an easy lob. Instead of giving the lob to KP, he passes to the corner for Tim Hardaway to get a contested 3. I don't care what Luka says before game and after games. They don't have chemistry. And I think that is primarily because Luka every year people keep telling us, oh, he's going to win MVP at some point. Stop.
Yeah, they do say that. They do.
Oh, he's not.
Well,
every
they do.
Year.
They do.
Every year.
Every year. And I think this year, a lot of people have witnessed and have noticed that, despite all the numbers that Luka is putting up, they don't win games like that. You know what I mean? You
No,
win
they
2
don't.
games,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going a 2-3 game winning streak.
They're
and then
11 and 12. They're in that,
exactly. You're in that middle pack right now. And I think they're having a hard time trying to build around Luka because it's like, Kristaps is having his best season as the Dallas Maverick this year. Why is he not getting the ball even more? He should be getting the ball every opportunity.
And I think that was the frustration part on his.
And that was last year where we thought they was going to move him.
Because Luka is a black hole. Like the ball,
like Zach Randolph.
With you.
Zach Randolph.
Yeah,
you talk about Eddie Winslow. But we didn't get a chance to talk about the Western Conference. So let's wrap up the show with the Western Conference.
So let me jump in that real quick, right? There's a team also in the Western Conference that nobody seemed to speak of. I tried to give them credit last year. The two of y'all shot me down because y'all was like, ain't nobody watching Houston Rockets. But they also on a winning game, a 5-game winning.
Yeah, I see Jordan in the comments. I purposely ignored it not to say anything because he said that. He said we're not going to talk about the 6-game winning streak. Yeah, he was in the comments.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, he was like, we're not going to talk about them on their winning streak. I'm like, no, because you're trolling.
No, we gotta give them their props because they was on a 15-game losing streak. 15-game losing
and now
streak.
they're on a win game.
And now they're on a little winning streak because Christian Wood is kind of leading the way, and they're doing it without Kevin Porter and Jalen Green. They're 2 young boys. So that's saying a lot, man.
So I'll give them a quick shout out. No problem. But looking at the rest of the Western Conference standings, clearly the Warriors and the Suns.
Screw that.
Come on, man.
Suns,
listen, man. You lose 15 straight. I don't care that you win 5 straight. Win 15 straight, and then you can talk to me. I don't care if you're 5 and 15. Who cares? Like, stop. Come on, man. We ain't doing that. Stop, Biggie. These niggas is the nice one on here.
They still failing. They still failing. You still failing.
Nah, you still failing. Yeah, 5 out of 15 is not a good stat. That's not even half.
Yo, Mike. This is what I'm doing now, Mike. Just to give you a head up, I'm doing it with the NFL panel on Sunday, and we're gonna do it too. I'm giving out grades. The professor's doing the report card time. So the NBA, I think the NBA, we're at that point where we get progress reports. So we're going to do progress reports at pass or fail or needs for improvement or pass or fail. So maybe that first Wednesday show after Christmas, because people say the true NBA season starts at Christmas. So we're going to get progress reports for that part of the season when we get back.
The Rockets are failing. Okay, Carl. Listen, if there's 20 questions on the test and you get the first 15 wrong and you get the last 5 right, Carl,
you still fail.
You get the F. You don't care. The professor giving you a nice F. But you know, wait a minute. The last 5 was right. So what? Have fun in summer school.
Let's go. So let's talk about the rest of the Western Conference again. The Warriors and the Suns are clearly standing away, and leading 20-4 tied. Then we got Utah in third, 16-7. Memphis, 14-10 and fourth. The Clippers right there, 13-12, tied with the Lakers, basically for that 5th spot. And then we got the Mavs and the Nuggets rounding it out. Minnesota 9, and then Portland 10. So the Lakers are they getting to where they need to get right now? Figuring it out. LeBron's back healthy. Are they gonna get a stride, or is it too soon to predict, Mike?
So we know with the Lakers, it's not can you just win like one game and get excited. It's do we think that you're now on a path to a championship? The answer is no. We have no. Last night was a very good game. Sorry, Carl, but last night was a nice game. It was a nice little win for them. But no. So if the stride is you're just gonna be the 5th seed or the 4th seed. Okay, but does anybody believe that they're good enough to beat any of the top 3 teams? Maybe Utah, definitely not the Warriors, and definitely not the Suns. So then no, they haven't hit their stride. I like the inside the NBA crew last night saying Charles said they're not going to win 6 games in a row. Let me see if they can win 6 games in a row. If they could do that, then we could talk about them. But winning one game. Well, you know
what? Currently, technically, I guess they're 13-12. So that's basically like, again, we'll do the progress reports. All right. So let me throw this out there. I don't know if it was the TNT crew who said it. Maybe they said it in their pregame or somebody said it. I can't remember. But they said basically like Magic and Kareem. When Kareem was on his back end of his career, Magic stepped up. Could we apply the same rules here? And I hate speaking for Laker fans because we have them in our team, but could we apply the same rules to this situation with LeBron and AD, where LeBron's on the back end and AD needs to step up.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie,
Uh-oh.
and I think
Uh-oh.
Chuck alluded to it. Anthony Davis has been really shaky this year.
Shaky, baby. Go ahead, Mike. Say it.
Really
Shaky, baby.
They
Uh-oh.
do.
Uh-oh.
They
Uh-oh.
are.
It look a little different when LeBron ain't playing. That's all I'm saying. It look a little different. LeBron don't play. It look a little different. That's
See,
all.
Mike, that's why I wish you were on that Christmas special, because Ray Jarvis will be there, and we know how he feel already. Anthony hasn't really been on because I'm saving him for the second half of the season, and he's doing our social media. But you already know how he talks. So this whole AD in the hitless streets has been going on since we were back in 2010, 2012. We've been talking about this. But you know what, Mike? It's really great for us to see the development of the argument, because now we're seeing it come to full fruition about Anthony Davis. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anyone was right or wrong, but let's take a look at it.
The whole thing was Giannis and Anthony Davis, right? That was the whole thing at a point. Giannis and Anthony Davis. Now we're looking to see how it's going so far. It's not looking too good for Anthony Davis.
The guys said it yesterday on Inside the NBA, but I think we can all agree. Like Zig said, it was supposed to be like this. We're not even thinking about Anthony Davis in that conversation. We don't think about it. We don't mention his name when it comes to top 5 player, best player. We don't think about him.
It was just a couple of years ago. He was doing this thing in the playoffs where we was like, yo, he should get finals MVP. All of a sudden, my man is going like a downward trajectory. I don't know what's going on.
We all remember, after they won the chip, remember, fellas, everybody was saying, okay, this is the year, this next year, Anthony Davis is going to be an MVP. No. And like Zig said,
got hurt.
I'm not wishing for the man downfall, but I'm just saying some of us had conversations about when you got to leave a team and you go play with Bron. I'm just saying, we gonna wait, we gonna chill. But
we gonna chill. Listen. We have the official or unofficial hit list notebook that we take notes and we remember episodes, because just keep in mind we are live and we archive all our shows. So just let me know when the debate was, when you thought it was, what year. We'll go back and have our interns look for it and pull up the receipts, like people like to say, and we'll bring it back to the conversation about what's going on, because I do remember a specific episode. I could tell you the year. It was 2015. We were in the St. Francis studio. I believe it was around Mac's birthday, and I know it too. We were talking about win shares, and we talked about who was the MVP. And someone said it was Anthony. And he talked about win shares, and he couldn't even explain to us what win shares mean.
That was Anthony and Kenny.
Yeah. So
you was on that.
Yeah, exactly. And I told him, you talk about stats you don't even know.
No. So we asked him to explain to us what win shares is. He couldn't even do it.
I can look it up for you. And we was like, oh no, segment over. We was like, segment over. You don't know what you're talking about, so segment over.
So I always have to recollect that moment, because we always asked him, tell us what win shares means. And he could never do it. But he's always been on that Anthony Davis train. I'll give him that. He's been consistent with Anthony Davis before he came to the Lakers, and he's been on that. So I'll give him some time, and I would love for him to come on and talk about that Anthony Davis play. Like, is he expected to get the keys to the kingdom while LeBron is 37?
He's supposed to, but it's looking real bad. I mean, what happened? Like, I don't know if he's dealing with an injury behind the scenes or whatnot. As you alluded to, Carl, yesterday, you was like, yo, is he hurt? He doesn't even look like.
I know, because he was having Grant Williams block his shot. And I'm like, Grant Williams is like this. Then you have my Time Lord, was jumping over him and stuff. You know, like it looked weird. And also Al Horford, 36-year-old Al Horford was out muscling him in the first half. So it was kind of questionable for me.
Hopefully we get to see a change. I don't know. We're gonna hopefully, man.
This is 2 years in a row of this now, man. Last year he underperformed. This year he's underperformed. It's possible, man. It's a little. Those lights are bright in LA, man. And when Bron ain't standing, and when you don't have Bron standing there getting 30 like he did last night, and when we depending on you to lead the team, it feels a little bit like New Orleans again, doesn't it? I'm I'm just saying, I'm checking the temperature. That's all I'm doing. I'm checking
You take the temperature? Is it cold? Is it hot? What you tell us, Mike?
That's all.
What's the temperature like? Tell us.
Carl,
Tell us before I go.
no conclusions being made. We just gonna check the temperature. That's
All
it.
right.
I want to that's all. That's all.
All right, so guys, we'll see you next week for the. I guess this is now the NBA Wednesday show because NFL has their own show on Sundays. Smoke and Mirrors does that baseball because Greg, Greg on his show, he'll do 90% baseball, 5% football, and then like 2% NBA in there some way, shape, or form. So I'm like, okay, I see what Smoke and Mirrors doing. So you know what? Exactly. I might handle the NBA show because I see what they do with their numbers and talking about baseball. So we got the NBA on lock on Wednesdays. Please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to all Hitless content. Thank you to the fans. Our next show will be on Friday with Smoke and Mirrors at 4:30. Make sure you pull up to the guys. The B show is returning soon, people. I don't know when. The B show may be returning. I don't know what's going on with her, but please make sure you stay tuned. We got a lot of things coming for 2022.
That's your wife?
Listen, I don't produce her show, bro. Like that's her thing. I'm just in the back end to make sure it looks clean, but she don't be telling me her stuff like that. She just says, just do this and what I need. That's it. So that's it. That's all I'm saying. But we're working on some stuff. I'll talk to you guys soon. Nothing but love. Mike, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place, 4 o'clock. You know the vibes.